Hello and welcome to Wake and Jake. Today is September 16th. God, we are really close to getting some playoff baseball. And today we're going to talk about some of the guys impacting those playoff games. Some of the young bloods. Pretty much every year we see a couple young ball players get the look. It feels like later and later every year that some of these top prospects are getting the call. Some of them also aren't top prospects that find themselves in the mix. And we've seen a recent history. I always reference Evan Carter with Texas. We've seen a lot of pitchers now. If you're peaking at the right time of year, you need enough arms. So we'll go through some of the past couple guys that have done it. And then I'll preview, we saw top prospect Bryce Eldridge get the call for the San Francisco Giants. Are they going to be in the dance? They need the Mets to keep limping to the finish line. But he was a good example. And there's been a couple big names that have gotten called up recently. Trey Yesavage? Have we gotten the pronunciation on that yet?
Let's see if...
Toronto, we love you.
I love Toronto.
He looked good. Good stuff. Passed the eye test. But yeah, I think there's just a simple thing to baseball in that, I think when it's all hands on deck, it's all hands on deck. And if you're going into the playoffs, that now all front offices believe in the randomness of it. But I think we also just came from a former baseball that was like, playing the 162 matters and these kids need to go through it. Now it's kind of like, no, screw it. That guy's throwing great. Call him up. Do we have a Yesavage? Yesavage.
Listening.
Trey Yesavage. Toronto. Trey Yesavage. He's listening.
Yesavage.
Yesavage.
According to the Jays broadcast.
Trey Yesavage. So, and then we'll go through a little bit of the football weekend, just previewing what looks yum, what doesn't look yum. So let's get into it. And it's all brought to you by Nike. There's a link in the description. If you're buying anything Nike, familiar, go through our link. They're now friends with us. You're going to buy their stuff. So go check it out. Give it a click. It's in the bio there. They're starting to do stuff with our warehouse, Little T's. Hello. All right. Let's get into the ballpark and ball talk. Because I went through the playoffs teams. Because I was thinking of doing the Jakey 30 teams, 30 minutes type deal, type bit. Is that what everyone's saying? And then I was like, man, there's a lot that doesn't matter, huh? So I didn't do that. And I think it's important because we get caught in our own teams. And I wasn't going to start with the Yankees, but I will. Because I think that's the one I can speak the most knowledgeably about. That we get sucked into our own team. Sure, we check out some of the other teams. Maybe it's fantasy. Maybe it's you're playing them or whatever it is. But sometimes we don't fully know the impact. That young guys on the roster that you might not be familiar with, like even young Anthony Volpe, if he was in better standing with the Yankees, you've seen him for 3 years, even though he's 24 now. But the Yankees have one that I think stands out perfectly. I guess Ben Rice in another life, if you're really not following ball. Here's what I'll say. I think this is a ball knower's guide.
Mm-hmm.
We're going for some of the deep cuts. I want guys that are either going to be starting, that are new to the squad offensively, or guys that will be pitching in big situations. And Yesavage, who we just talked about for Toronto, he's one of those guys. The one for the New York Yankees is easy for me, and again, we're so deep in it. Cam Schlittler. Be careful how you say that last name. Cam Schlittler, 24 years old, listed 6'6". I'm just guessing. I haven't looked.
I believe his listed height is going to be above
It could be taller, right?
Listed 6'6".
Okay. Gives some Glass Now vibes. Very composed on the mound. His two best pitches seem to be a high four-seam fastball and an over-the-top curveball, which has flashbacks to a young Tyler Glasnow. In 11 starts, Cam Schlittler has a 3.05 ERA. So again, if you're someone that follows the game closely, you've definitely seen the name. We're interested in Yankee land to see how they deploy him. Is he going to be their kick to the bullpen option? Is he going to be their Game 3 starter? He's got a couple different ways he can go. The way that his stuff plays, he can hit 100 on the gun. I I think Yankee fans are getting excited for him as bullpen help because that's where the Yankees need help, especially his kind of arm, where maybe Luis Heel or Will Warren or someone else can give you that start. But he is the guy, and he's kind of burst onto the scene that if you're watching Yankees postseason baseball or if they make a run, it's pretty much a guarantee that Cam Schlittler is going to be pretty involved in it. And he could be a name that if he goes out and performs the way he can, he'll be one of the young guys we're talking about this postseason. I said I was going to do the history, so maybe I'll just lump the Yankees in with that. Because, again, the whole tenor of baseball and prospects in general has just changed, that guys didn't get treated this way at all. The one that really jumps to my head first is Shane McClanahan for the Rays, which that one was just different because if I believe correctly, he did not have an MLB start. Correct. In 2020, Shane McClanahan, his first Major League Baseball action was in the division series against the Yankees in 2020. Weird year. Weird one for Shane. And a really tough spot to be put in my opinion. He didn't end up pitching too much. I think he had 2 games, 1.2 innings, and then they went on to Houston. He had 1 more game. But still, it was the concept of, like, whoa, we're actually doing this now? And this was still when the Rays were respected as the team that was, like, ahead of the curb. That Shane McClanahan was one of the first names that jumped to the top of my mind when we were talking about this. And then the other one, when I kicked it off to BBD, a guy announced himself as the best player to ever play the game. Randy Arozarena. Randy, who we're going to see this postseason, and boy, is that exciting. I guess I haven't thought about that fully yet. Although there's still some AL funny business that could happen, but Mariners are sitting in a really nice position because of witchcraft. Randy Arozarena had 23 plate appearances in 2019 with St. Louis. Remember the old St. Louis Cardinals and their outfielder memes and how they were performing everywhere else. He moves over to Tampa. He only played 23 games for them that year. 23 games for Tampa during the 2020 season. So I guess if I was spin zoning myself, that was, over a third of the games.
Yep, over 1/3.
Weird year, huh? Randy Arozarena went into that postseason and played absolutely out of his mind. In the 2020 wild card, he went 4 for 8. That's 500 with a 1.5 OPS. In the 5 games against the Yankees, he went 421, 476 for the 1.3 OPS. In the ALCS, he went 321. But he did have a 1.152 and got ALCS MVP. And then he went on to the World Series against the Dodgers, and he had a 1.234 OPS. In his career now, 33 postseason games, Randy has a 1.1 OPS, 336 batting average. So I'm excited to watch that. That'll be must-watch. That Randy Arozarena did that with McClanahan making his debut. And then the other one that I think is currently going down as absolute folklore, Evan Carter with the Texas Rangers got called up. And it's a little more similar to Randy than I remember. I feel bad that Evan, he's had a lot of injuries and stuff he's gone through. He actually, when he played this year for Texas, he's been solid. 2 WAR in 63 games. And a reminder, he's so young. He's 23 years old. So Evan Carter, there should be next chapters, and you should be excited for them. But in 2023, he played 23 games. And he played pretty decent in those games, where he continued on to the postseason. In his 17 postseason games, he batted 300 with a 417 on base and a 917 OPS. He really jumped on the scene in that first series where he went the 2 wild card games. Did he go? Okay, 3 for 4 with 3 walks. He had a 2.8 OPS. He was playing blitzball. And then, I guess if you just kind of Google this, Jackson Jobe last year was a top prospect that the Tigers put in the mix flamethrower. And it's just an example of some of these guys you're going to see come the postseason. Some of them are going to have different roles. And that's where I'll jump to the Boston Red Sox. I'll continue to AL East to West this because that's just how I was raised. I'm being honest with you. The Red Sox lineup, a lot of guys you know. A couple young guys, Narvaez, Rafaela. I think you kind of know them at this point, and they've been here for the ride of the season. For me, the exciting stuff is in their pitching. They called up Payton Tolle. I think we're calling him Tolle, Tolle. Came up. He's a guy, he's 22. He looks 31. Big mustache, big guy, some cool quotes. He's slowed down a little bit. That I think the guy you should know is Connelly Early. So we've got two young lefties in Boston. I think Connelly Early right now, he's getting the start tonight against the Athletics, and if he looks good in that, Connelly Early fever could be sweeping the Commonwealth. Hit 97, 98 on the gun. He throws like a lefty. I think if you've watched baseball before, you know what that means. And he's got the nice slider. He's got a 4-pitch mix. That Connelly Early. Man, if that kid pitches well for Boston, Southie, watch out. Is there another AL East team in the playoffs? There sure is. How about your division-winning Toronto Blue Jays? And the guy whose name I said a lot, and I wasn't super familiar with, Trey Yesavage. I mean, if Yesavage is how you say that name, that's pretty badass. Top prospect for them, second in the org, 61, wherever you get your prospect rankings. First round pick in 24. God, how does this keep happening? It's just we treat it different now. Got into the game last night, a.k.a. started it. 5 innings, 9 strikeouts. He had a 1 whip, 3 hits, 2 walks. And yeah, if you watch the clips, I think Pitch Ninja was posting them. The kid has electric stuff that, with Toronto, we talked about the chips all in. You know they're veterans. They have Gossman, Bassett, Scherzer, Bieber, Barrios. That's a lot of experience. Part of me hopes that matters. Their bullpen has had some question marks, especially with Jeff Hoffman on the back end, giving up the most home runs by a relief pitcher this year. They have other names you know down there. Sir Anthony, Yariel, Tommy Nance, as we found out the other day. Breaking out for them at age 34. That's what I'm hoping for. Brendan Little has been good for them all year, but if you're looking for the weapon out of the bullpen, it feels like Toronto. Because, again, without being shots fired at their other veteran pitchers that I just said that I liked, those guys aren't big-time go to the bullpen and have electric stuff for an inning, 2 innings. Like, that's not Barrios at this point. That's not Scherzer at this point. It's never been Bassett's game. It's never been Bieber's game. So, again, I'm saying this in a super respectful way. Without being disrespectful. When that song came on, watch out. Nobody was safe. Trey Yesavage. Toronto is going to the postseason. They're going to be playing big games. They're going to get him a couple starts leading into the postseason. That, I guess, the storyline there. Again, with all those veterans, it's tough to picture Schneider giving the ball to him over any of those other guys in a postseason start. But as a first guy out of the pen, as a weapon, here's some pitch ninja. Yeah, he was supposed to have an immaculate inning. Ump just missed a call. Like not even close. And yeah, you see he's got the downward tilt on the curveball, and he's got a fastball and a changeup that have very similar down and away, just 10-mile apart difference. Should have had a perfect immaculate inning, which I always flip-flop on. I don't think it's that cool. I'm sorry. I don't know. I feel rude. I think, is it the pitch after that one? Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. You'd like to have that. Good look by him. He does not look 22. Go to his face again. What? I mean, no way, right? That guy looks like a veteran. Maybe that's good for them. I don't know. So, yeah, a lot of young arms in the AL East for this exercise. In the Central, Cleveland's on the outside looking in. They shouldn't get a full segment. And I wrote down their whole org. I could have told you CJ Kafis, who's been playing for them. And he is a cousin of a girl I went to high school with. Shout out Carly. I could tell you Parker Messick, who's been pitching really well for them. I could tell you so many guys. It's the goddamn guards. They're somehow 3 games out. If they find a way to the dance, I'd be scared of their whole team. But I don't think they're going dancing. The team that does need to be talked about is Detroit. Your Detroit Tigers. And this is one of the players that I'm not super familiar with. Another young pitcher for them, Troy Melton, has gotten called up for them. He has pitched in 13 games, 3 starts, and now he's coming out of the bullpen. He has a 2.54 ERA, 34 strikeouts, and 39 innings. Again, this is the Tigers, who have been a powerhouse of the American League, basically start to finish this year. Fangraphs currently lists Troy Melton as their setup man. See the slider there, strikes out the side in the 5th. A guy that's a top 100 prospect in their organization. And a little bit of the, I don't want to say more traditional path, but has gotten called up. Got a couple starts, got moved to the pen, has figured it out down there. This Tigers bullpen that has been a question. Like right now, their 8th inning guy is listed as Rafael Montero, who we've seen the highs of him. We've also seen the lows of him. I do like the way Will Vest pitches. As they're figuring out their plan down there, Jose Urquidy is back. Got the hold on Sunday for the Tigers. But Troy Melton, power arm, top prospect, everything we're looking for in this exercise. Someone that should be pitching in big innings for them in October. That wraps up the AL Central. That brings us out west. And surprisingly, your Seattle Mariners don't have a ton of names that check this box. I was interested to see, but I guess it's kind of the exciting part of the Mariners. We know their pitchers, like it's Wu, Kirby, Gilbert, Miller, Castillo. 1 or 2 of those guys will be helping in the bullpen, so watch out for that. Their bullpen, it's Munoz, and then Matt Brash is good. Bizzardo's been good for them, sure. But it's not really the young watch-out breakout guy. I guess I could point to Emerson Hancock, who's on the roster. They do have 2 top prospects who are position players. One of them is Harry Ford, the catcher. He kind of first went viral for wearing the Great Britain WBC jersey that looked horrible. If you guys remember, it looked like they just printed Times New Roman font. It looked like a goof jersey. And then Cole Young, who I talked about earlier this year. Both, they're 1 and 2 prospects in the org, a catcher and an infielder. Cole Young has only played once the past week. Harry Ford hasn't gotten a start because they have their catcher DH situation kind of figured out. That I don't know. I think for those young guys, they would have to find some playing time opportunity right now. I like Cole Young's swing and hair. I like Harry Ford's vibe. But yeah, right now they're fighting for playing time. The Mariners were sneaky, one of the toughest ones to do for this exercise, which maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that just means they have their good players playing confidently. With Houston, we had a guy who was a highlight of the weekend this weekend, Zach Cole, who got called up to play outfield for them in his first game. Homers on the first pitch, bang biscuit, gets 3 hits in his first game. And yeah, if I wanted to do a lazy comp, I'd be like, is he Houston's Evan Carter? I mean, time will tell. He's played 3 games in left field. They do have other outfield options, and I'd have to double-check some of their injury timeline, although I don't think they have any other outfielders coming back. So he's got an opportunity to be in the mix, and he is the definition of, like, this guy isn't a top prospect for them. Coming into the season, I think he was their number 26 prospect But got called up from Double-A. He's 25 years old. Nice year in the minors. Amazing first game that, like, could he be a guy that rides it out for a month with the Houston Astros, looking for lefty bats per usual? Almost just threw up mid-sentence there. Not sure what that was. The other one, a name that has been a favorite on this program, AJ Blubaugh. He's wearing number 69, Blubaugh.
Looks like he's made it into the rotation.
Yeah, I didn't know he got the rotation bump. So clearly, the 25-year-old top 10 prospect in the org. I don't know. We laughed because number 69 in Blubaugh. I don't know how he factors into their pitching plans. Zach Cole, I think, is my favorite answer for the exercise right now. Any Blubaugh comments, BBD?
We've said them.
Okay.
Nice.
And then our last team, my Texas Rangers, who deserve a quick mention, I suppose. And it's just they have a couple young guys playing right now. Alejandro Osuna is a 22-year-old outfielder, and Cody Freeman is a 24-year-old second baseman primarily. That both of them have been adding a little electricity that Texas has needed. I just got really sad today when I looked in the standings and I saw they are with Cleveland. So, like, I just need to stop giving them credit. I just need to stop. Let's jump over to the National League. And maybe we'll go west to east this time, because part of the reason I started this conversation was Bryce Eldridge, the top prospect first baseman, one of the names we heard before the year. Always makes me curious that it's like, this guy was the 16th overall pick in 2023 out of high school. And we heard the hype before this year that it was like, he might be coming. He gets the call late. Dom Smith got hurt for the Giants, and that's part of the reason he got the call. I don't know if our Giants are going to be going dancing, but, you know, if we get the 6'7", 240, 20-year-old top pick playing in some postseason baseball, that's must-watch. So let's see if we must-watch that, San Francisco, but you got to get us there. The other teams out west, man, the West disappointed today, and we'll just make that the title.
Wow.
San Diego just called up a guy named Bradley Rodriguez. I asked Ryan Cohen about him. He's 21. He's only pitched a little bit on the level, so maybe he's that guy. San Diego, man, San Diego. That's a tough place to crack right now. I mean, Jackson Merrill is their signature young guy, and he's back and playing, and I'm happy for them. But their starting lineup, Tatis, Arise, Machado, Sheets, Laureano, Merrill, O'Hearn, Cronenworth, Fermin. That's it. There's no wiggle there.
If they are healthy, that is the group.
The bench is Elias Diaz, Jose Iglesias, Mason McCoy, Will Wagner, and Bryce Johnson. So, like, I don't have that juice we're looking for. Of the pitchers, it gets a little more comical. Mike King, Pivetta. Maybe Randy Vazquez is the guy I should talk about. He's been pitching well for them. Former Yankee farmhand, has been getting a lot of innings, and maybe you don't know Randy Vazquez that well. I mean, the other name, I had Bradley. I had our big guy that just got hurt for them. Not Sean Reynolds, David Morgan. And he's 25. So I don't know, but again, I just went through the lineup. Robert Suarez, Mason Miller, Morahone, Estrada, Wandy. Ron Marinaccio mentioned. To get the ball offensively or pitching-wise in San Diego to someone you don't really know, it's hard. It's hard. And again, I think that's a good thing. The Dodgers is a little bit of the same story. I think kind of anyone in the Dodgers lineup, you're pretty familiar with them. Dalton Rushing could be catching for them, depending what goes on with Will Smith. I mean, the name that really jumped out for me, again, one of the guys I'm the least familiar with. So if any of these guys are on your team, maybe give me your scouting report on them, because I might have just seen highlights. Edgardo Henriquez is pitching for the Dodgers. He got the win in Saturday's game. 23-year-old top 100 prospect pitching out of the bullpen. So again, these Dodger games, let me get you guys a little more. I feel that wasn't enough. Edgardo Henriquez. Nice name. I had a coach Henriquez growing up. So I hope I'm saying his name right because I'm saying it like I said to our coach. I just Googled baseball. God damn it, Jake. You gotta be better than that. Gotta be better, Bobby. Do you like fastball velo, David?
I generally do.
All the way red, 100 miles per hour. With some run there. We like that. And an over-the-top banger of a curveball. This is perfect. Yeah, I'm not as familiar with Edgardo Henriquez as I like. I'm still not sure if I'm saying Henriquez right. Henriquez? But he has pitched in 17 games this year, 15 innings, a 1.8 ERA. This is what we're talking about. The Dodgers, who should be playing on the biggest of stages. You could see this kid in a big inning or two. Okay, so the West didn't fully let me down. I just need to watch some Edgardo highlights. In the beautiful Midwest, boy, do we have options. I guess I'll start with Milwaukee because they kind of have the number one guy for this. It's Jacob Misiorowski, right? Like he was already kind of the story of the season. He went to the All-Star game. That was a whole deal. He's slowed down performance-wise and injury. He's going to be involved in their postseason, and he's going to be one of the biggest talking points because, one, he is big, two, he throws hard, and three, it's going to be just interesting to see how they deploy him. The Brewers are also another team that, like, I could name you a decent amount of guys. Like, we're familiar with Caleb Durbin, former Yankees starting third baseman before the season. 5'6" king who's been talked about a lot on this show. So I don't think he really counts. The other one that's jumped out, and he's a guy that's been in the bigs for a few years now, Quinn Priester has just been kind of their breakout guy this year. He's 13-2 with a 3.25 ERA, 146.2 innings, 118 strikeouts. So not punching a ton of tickets. But yeah, just a guy that was traded before the season for some minor leaguers and not kind of top prospects that the Brewers have tapped into, the former first-round pick, and gotten very impressive outings this year. Brewers have a ton of just brewery guys all around the field that I think Misiorowski is going to be – he's going to be highlighted pretty big this postseason, in my opinion. For your Chicago Cubbies, interesting. If you've been listening, we've been talking about Cade Horton, who defines this. He actually might be pitching too well that he's been being spotlit. No one said that.
Because he's kind of been like this whole, particularly the second half. Like a little bit the idea here is that like they haven't really done a full season or most of a season.
Yeah, the concept here is supposed to be like you turn on the fifth inning of a playoff game and you're like, who the hell is that? And Cade Horton is getting the ball for them, and he's been one of the best pitchers in baseball in the second half of this season, so he might not sneak up on you. The two guys that might, Owen Casey, top prospect outfielder, got called up for them. An unfortunate slide tackle by Pete Crow Armstrong just sent him to the IL as he went into the brick at Wrigley, which that's crazy when we think about it. Part of me loves it, part of me hates it. The other one, 21-year-old Moises Ballesteros, pretty big-time catching prospect, has been DHing for them. And he's run into a couple balls for them. Seiya has been out this week. And Ballesteros, again, 21 years old, Venezuelan, number 4 prospect in their org. He's DH'd the past 4 games, hitting 4th and 6th. So this is the example. Like, if you turn on a Cubs game, I didn't mention Kevin Alcantara, who's become a big prospect for them. He hasn't gotten run yet. But, like, okay, you're going to turn on the Cubs game, and you're going to be looking for Happ, Suzuki, PCA, Kyle Tucker, Dansby. You're going to see a couple names you're not as familiar with in some interesting positions, whether that is Cade Horton, whether that is Ballesteros. But yeah, I was a little surprised that the Cubbies have those kind of options when coming into this, I almost expected it to be Padres or Seattle. Like we know all these guys except Matt Shaw kind of, but I've been talking about Matt Shaw since the opening day of the season. Also, just some funny stuff going on with our Cubbies pitching. Brad Keller has been on a run from hell. I think he had 24 innings scoreless at one point.
Sheesh.
Yeah. And my guy, a guy that I said was going to be one of my favorite trade acquisitions, Mike Soroka just came back for them, and he's pitching in the bullpen. That was my whole thing. Threw 39 bullets for them last night. If their bullpen comes together, it could be fun. It could be horrifying. Sometimes I become a sucker for names, and this Cubs team is pitching-wise, it's in a funky spot. That's your Central. So now we've ended up in the East. And I mean, the Mets, I could have started off this whole exercise with the Mets because holy shit. I normally keep my language under control on this program, but if you turn on Mets postseason baseball, are you going to see Jonah Tong, Nolan McLean, and Brandon Sproat? You're definitely going to see McLean. I think you might see the other guys too. The Mets, part of what inspired this whole exercise is the 3 starting pitchers that they have now plugged in their rotation after the midseason point. Their top 3 prospects. McLean has been amazing. I'll say the stat line because I don't know, man. Like, I remember, or I guess the problem is that the Mets have been playing some pretty bad baseball, that I think that's been overshadowing it. Nolan McLean, 6 starts, 37.2 innings, 40 strikeouts, a 1.19. That's a 1.19 ERA. His baseball reference picture is him in a Rumble Ponies jersey. That's where we're at. So that dude is definitely going to be twirling the pill this October. The other young ones for the Mets are currently part of the conversation on how are they going to navigate this whole thing. And then player-wise, you kind of know a lot of the Mets. I guess if Ronnie Mauricio gets some run, but you might know Ronnie Mauricio, you might not. But yeah, for the Mets, the storyline is going to be all those young pitchers. And quick update, as Joe's McFly peeks his head in, there's a guy in the Mets named Dom Hamill. Just got called up. Wasn't familiar. I don't think he's going to be involved in this postseason.
I know he's been on Shea Station before.
Oh,
so
ad.
Plug for an episode from I think 2 years ago. I think Jolly got him pretty soon after the draft.
Tune in.
Maybe as after the first pro season. I don't remember. I'm not on that show.
Could be big. Could be big. The Mets are one of the more fun ones in this exercise. And then the fighting Phillies, which, again, you could put in that bucket of, well, we know this team, dude. They have a couple options. And like last year, Orion Kerkering was kind of one of these guys for them that was like, ooh, who's this young hot shot reliever they're calling up? He's established himself this season that I don't think you can pick him. You know their whole rotation, and you kind of know the whole lineup. The guy that's jumped out for me, and I just don't know if he's going to get the playing time, Otto Kemp. Otto Kemp, who's been playing third base for them. Now, Alec Boehm is out, and we know the Alec Boehm roller coaster ride that's been with the Phillies. And Trey Turner is currently out. So, like, right now, Kemp and Edmundo Sosa are in the lineup. Stott has been playing great, but so is Kemp. And Otto Kemp passes one of my eye tests that I guess if this was Jake Storielli trivia, you'd say, what list is Otto Kemp on with Shohei Ohtani and Corbin Carroll? The ball off his bat goes further than I think it would. He hit a home run to dead center field last week that I thought it was like a shallow fly out. Got out of the park at Citizens Bank. He's put together a very solid rookie year getting thrown into it for the Phillies. In, let's see, how many games? 54 games, 250, 318, a 736 OPS. So that's right, league average, a 100 OPS plus. Is this my home run? Yeah, I didn't think he got that one, and that's the deepest part of the stadium, out in the Illadelph. So some MFer named Otto for the Phillies. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting for him because if everyone else comes back, I don't know what you do. The other thing that's something to watch in Philly land right now, top prospect we've heard about for years, Andrew Painter, is throwing it at AAA. There's still some rumors that they might call him up, get him a couple games under his feet at the big league level, so if they need him, he can pitch. He would be your prime example, and I do think he's going to get the call. We'll see. I trust in Dombro. You guys know that. I don't know. Otto Kemp. It's a good name.
Fun name.
Does that not matter anymore? I don't know. Hey, if you're a fan of those teams, give me a little more of a scouting report. I haven't seen all of Otto Kemp's 54 games. So if you're a Phillies gang, okay, canceled. Let me know what you're seeing from any of these young ball players, something that could be the tidbit that helps us identify them better come October. All right. That was your baseball. Let's do a little football, and let's walk ourselves through what this football weekend will be for us. We have a blitzball tournament this weekend at our warehouse. We don't air those live, but know that it's part of the reason we pre-recorded this on Tuesday afternoon. So if any of the information I told you changed, that's why. This week, September, wow, end of September. Bills-Dolphins on Thursday night. What you need to know is the Bills are one of the best teams in football. They are minus 12.5-point favorites. The Dolphins are 0-2. They could have beat the Patriots, and it would be really interesting to see how much the narrative would change. All of the smart football people are saying that it's getting ugly with their head coach and that the vibes are off. So if things get super, super ugly, could you see a really early head coach firing? I don't know. From the noise that the people I trust in football are making, it wouldn't shock me, especially if the Bills really put it on them. Let's see. Give it to A-Chan. Fantasy. On Saturday, this is where we jump to college, just to see what's going on. Because if there's a big game, we're going to tune in. Georgia-Tennessee was fantastic. Had an argument for game of the weekend. Let's see. Does college football have any juice for us? Texas Tech, Utah at noon. Bang. Skip your chores. Syracuse, Clemson if you like orange. Oregon State if you like old rivalries. 34.5-point spread. Yikes. Auburn at Oklahoma. Okay, a little 3:30. Those are two proud teams you don't see link up a lot. Michigan and Nebraska. Michigan has their replacement coach in, Biff Poggi. We like that. Purdue at Notre Dame, no thanks. Ball State, UConn, absolutely. Illinois, Indiana, 9 versus 19. In Indiana, 7:30. Okay. Let's check out the crowd for that one. Okay, if we're being honest, kind of not the hype slate we were looking for. USC, Michigan State at 11 Eastern for you night owls. So, hey, if you're not a college football person, there's a couple quirky ones on there, but it doesn't seem like a banner weekend. So, if you have to save it for Sunday, this is what you're going to get. Packers-Browns, 2-0 versus 0-2. I think everyone knows where you stand on the Browns franchise. I think everyone knows where they stand on the Packers franchise. Minus 7.5 Green Bay. Give me Cleveland. That's kind of how the NFL works sometimes. Colts-Titans, 2-0 versus 0-2. Indiana Jones, people are talking about. Another one, Indiana minus 3.5 on the road. I don't know. I haven't seen enough from Cam Ward to believe yet. And I don't know if that's going to be a good product if we're just being real. Bengals, Vikings, the 2-0 Bengals go and face the Minnesota Vikings. No J.J. McCarthy, out 2 to 4 weeks. So let's see what that looks like. And let's see what it looks like with Jake Browning and the Bengals, who Browning came in and looked okay. 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That game has biggest shit show potential, I suppose. As we're starting to get into the ugly, there's been a couple ugly backup quarterbacks, not visually. They're handsome guys. But yeah, I think last weekend we had Mac Jones and Rattler in New Orleans. Jake Brown, Jake Browning, excuse me. I kind of like him, and that's some of the quotes that are coming out today. But on paper, it is Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz for your Minnesota Vikings. Buckle up. Get the Reds. I haven't had a full red zone day yet. Maybe this weekend. We'll see. Steelers, Patriots. I'm interested. One of these teams will be 2-1. New England gets a nice survives Miami. The Steelers did not survive the Seahawks at home. Pittsburgh -1.5 on the road. I don't know where I stand with either of these teams. I guess I don't know if my New York is showing that I naturally kind of root against the Patriots. How about this? I can try to be neutral for a day. If the Patriots go 2-1 with Rabel and Drake May and there's something building there, I can get excited for them, not with them. The Steelers, the Tomlin, Rodgers, and all those people storyline, it can be really fun. So I think we're going to get some good highlights from that. Probably the game of the weekend that people are going to be actually pushing, Rams-Eagles, both 2-0. The Rams gave the Eagles hell last year and were the team that almost ruined their Super Bowl run. Remember Trevor's friend Matthew driving them down the field? Big Jalen Carter play ended up ending it. Both these teams are 2-0. It's in Philly. It's a really tough task for any team. Ban the tush push. I'll say it. It's not a great product. I'm glad that Philly has taken advantage of it and used it, and it doesn't work for every other team, and you need massive O-linemen, and you need a quarterback that squats 1 million pounds. But yeah, that last week's highlight of them kind of everyone being offsides, yeah, it's just not good for the sport at a couple points. So, sorry, Philly fans. Bucks, Jets. I'll kindly pass. I like Baker, though. They're 2-0. Hello. After last night. Raiders, Commanders. I'm okay. Falcons, Panthers. Kind of good on that, too, if we're being honest. Texans, Jaguars. Yeah. I don't go your fantasy team, but I don't need a lot from a lot of those teams. Broncos, Chargers. My Broncos coming off a tough loss where, I don't know, they won for a second, and then they lost. The 2-0 Chargers. I'm a mini pat on the back for myself. There was a lot of Broncos hype going before the season. As you guys know, I was timid of it. Part of the reason I was timid, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. Maybe. They're 0-2. Let's find out. The Raiders should be better. We'll see what that means, but the Raiders should be better with Geno and a new coach and Genty and that whole deal. That there's a lot of Broncos hype. People were excited about the defense and Bo Nix in year 2 with Sean Payton. For me, it just seemed like there's a really good pitch for the rest of the division. They're 1-1 going to the 2-0 Chargers. Chargers are -2.5-point favorites. But the Chargers and Harbaugh in year 2 gets so much better everywhere he goes that I can't believe more people weren't talking about that before the season. That kicks off the 4:05 slate along with Seahawks Saints. Not really. I told you guys, I think the Seahawks have a good coach. Mike McDonald, is that what we agreed on? You said if it was Marshall McDonald, we'd like it more. I think he's a good coach. Saints might be the worst team in the league. Cowboys, Bears. I'm good on that. Did you know the Bears are favored? -1.5. What's that tell you? Cardinals, Niners round off the 4 p.m. games. A couple 2-0 teams. Divisional game. Cardinals have a couple wins, but it's against the supposed worst teams in the league. I think it might be Mac Jones' show again without George Kittle. It's in San Francisco. They are 1.5-point favorites. Stay away from it, Vegas-wise. Division game like that? No thanks. And then your nightcap. The G-Men against the Kansas City Chiefs, both 0-2. Can Russ cook? It's in East Rutherford? Kansas City -5.5. I don't know. Man, I'll say this. I think the Giants could win this game. The Chiefs haven't been overly impressive. The Giants played fun last week. What does that mean? If the Chiefs were to lose this one, boy, would things get loud. Between Travis and Taylor, between Mahomes being in commercials with Meghan Trainor, between them not being as flashy as they once were.
Rasheed Rice stuff.
I'm not going to believe in the Giants. The Cowboys, the Bears are favored over the Cowboys. This is funny. Chiefs by 1 million. I've seen this game.
This is supposed to be their cookie and they need it.
I've seen this game. Chiefs by 1 million. Monday, Lion Ravens. So that is actually going to be the highlight coming out of this weekend. So that's your football weekend. Get your popcorn ready for Chiefs Giants because that'll be a viewing experience either way. Otherwise, I don't know. I feel like the football went light this weekend. So maybe tune into baseball. I'll be there. I'll be at the warehouse. I'll be watching football too. Sports. We love you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Share with a friend. We will be back next Monday. And that's like is that a week away from the postseason? Yeah. That doesn't feel right. So it's wrong. Tweet at Joe's McFly. Frog emojis. Thank you.